What to play and why? What games and genres should I be looking at? Someone wanting to get into gaming, or someone wanting to try something new? This is the topic we'll be covering today. Let's jump right into the world of gaming, talk about the experiences and moments we lived through it. Please welcome our guests, ConCon and Skarra. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Papa Capes, and we are back with yet another segment. And this one is going to be for whether you are new to the gaming world, whether you took a break and you're returning to the gaming world, or if you just find your current gaming universe a bit stale. The topic for today is gaming genres, what and why to play. And I am lucky enough to be joined by an amazing YouTuber, Mr. Con, and an epic streamer who might be bad at games but is amazing at vibes. And his name is Skarra. Welcome in, gentlemen. I'm going to hand it to you two for a brief introduction. Tell us a bit about yourself. And yeah, we'll start with you, Con.
Okay, so I am a YouTuber. I make gaming video tutorials mainly. You can catch me doing some other unique things in between, but mostly I'm known for making tutorials on new games pretty much every single month. And that's the gist of it.
Thank you, sir. Skarra.
What's happening, everyone? My name is Skarra. I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch, but I'm also an esports caster, host at MC. Alongside that, I'm also a social media manager for African Cyber Gaming League. And all in all, I'm just pretty much, a content creator that's just, trying to find his footing and just having fun while I do it.
There we go. So first thing I want to hear from you guys, and Skarra, we'll start with you, is what is your favorite gaming genre and why? What does that specific genre have to offer you? Because sometimes if you're new to this space, you get so overwhelmed by ARPGs, RPGs, MOBAs, FPSs, all of these 3-letter, 4-letter acronyms, and you just don't know what's going on. So give us some insight as to your favorite genre and why.
It's kind of funny because, looking at what I play most of the time, people would assume it is FPS, but it's actually strategy-based games because I'm someone that loves methodical gameplay. I love things that are tactical. So I always love putting my thought behind a play, my thought behind like something I'm going to execute. So I love to play games, such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and even a game like Marvel Snap as of recent. Those games sort of give me an edge on my opponent because it's always that thing of just being able to outthink and outplay my opponent. That just gives me such a great factor and feeling inside.
I get you. So you like chess? Well, yes? No?
A bit, yeah. I just haven't really been playing it too much, but I actually want to get back into it because I actually used to play chess, but I really need to dust off the cobwebs there.
I got you. Con, from your side, your favorite genre and why?
Oh, this is a tough one. I think my favorite would be more along the lines of like role-playing games where you're playing a specific character and you're kind of like following a story, right? Like if I can throw back to like Pokemon, for example, I love playing Pokemon kind of games, like this kind of story. Those are really cool. I also like survival games, things like Ark Survival Evolved, where you have to like start off really low with like nothing, and then you like progress, you grind, you get to a point where you've amassed all this stuff, you've built something that you feel like you have to keep playing because you've come so 100%. Far, you can't back out now. I think those are my two favorites.
That's like, it's crazy. Like everybody knows me as the Rocket League guy, which started out as an indie game and is now just like an esport that's thriving. But my favorite genre as well, survival, like you, Con. And it's for the same reason, starting out with nothing, gradually building up to having an abundance of whatever it is, whether resources, whether building materials, whether gear, whether weaponry. I don't know, there's something so satisfying about that. And there's some games that combine these different genres very well, and there's some games that have attempted to do it and failed. But when I say recently in the next statement, it's not going to be as recent as like 1 or 2 years, but recently, let's go back like 5-6 years, a genre came out that was new and unbeknownst to many, the Battle Royale genre. And we know names like Fortnite and PUBG, H1Z1, Ring of Elysium. These are all games that touch on that like Battle Royale shooters. What is your guys' experiences? Con, we'll start with you with Battle Royale specifically, because I don't want to say it's the newest genre, but for anybody that's been out of gaming or new to gaming, it might be the most foreign to them.
True. I think Battle Royales have taken the world by storm. And I was there when it started. I mean, I guess we all were, right? But like it all started with Hunger Games, the movie, right? Like, the Hunger Games, and then it transitioned into survival games on Minecraft, and that blew up for like months, right? And then right after that, it was PUBG, and PUBG it killed it, dude. Like this, the player counts for Steam, they're like the top highest.
Yep.
It's nuts. There's some big numbers there, and obviously Fortnite. The rest is kind of history there with how it's just cemented its like genre in stone. It's like when I was growing up, RTS games were the thing, right? Like you used to play like, the base builders, control your units, raid alerts, Age of Empires, all of those kind of things. That was the top thing, and that got replaced with basically battle royales now.
And Skarra, anything that you'd like to add there?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you even touched on it earlier. It's like I feel like Battle Royale has sort of added a bit of elements from other game genres. And what I mean by that is, I mean, you can add in survival. Because as you drop in, let's say Fortnite, you drop in onto the map, you have pretty much nothing. You only have your pickaxe. You need to get your materials. You need to farm. You need to get your weapons. You need to get all your heals. So that in itself adds to the survival element. And then on top of that, there's probably 60, 40, 80 other players that you're trying to outplay and try to out-survive. And that in turn brings in the whole concept of strategy. And now you need to understand, okay, how am I going to survive, or how am I going to take out every other person and win the game? So I feel like Battle Royale really has brought such a different game-changing element to things when it came to gaming. And I feel like that's why it really took the world by storm, because of just having an amalgamation of all these different genres into one, and then creating this whole new concept for gamers.
100%. No, I agree with that. Con touched on to the RTS genre. And I mean, weirdly enough, Age of Empires, Red Alert, Command and Conquer, there was even a game called Commandos. And these were all games that I started on PC with, which is ironic. Because people look at me and they see like a FIFA player, a Rocket League player, a FPS player. A lot of people don't understand that I even recently started playing Anno 1800, which is again like a city builder, it's cracked. It is absolutely cracked. And some people find themselves so stuck in a genre, unsure of how to transition from genre to genre because they feel, I just don't know enough, which is crazy. But before we touch on to that, we'll get back to this specific topic after the break. The last thing I want to touch on is extraction shooters, which is also on the up and come. Games like Escape from Tarkov, yes, I understand it's been in beta for like 7 years, but then you've got a new one that's in development, Beautiful Light, and The Front, I think, is another one called extraction shooters. Dark and Darker might not be a shooter, but it's an extraction looter. Like whatever you take in, you're gambling with, right? Because there's no guarantee that you're going to get it out. Rust touches on it as well. It might not be where you drop in, loot up, build up gear and extract, but whatever you take out of your base on a roam, you can lose. So these extraction shooters where the risk and the reward elements are more predominant. What are you guys' thoughts on how extraction shooters are now recently coming into play? Skarra, we'll start with you.
I feel like that's more of like, I wouldn't say more seasoned gamers, but I feel like it might lean towards more of that, because I feel like in those types of games, as you mentioned, is the more the high risk, high reward type thing. As you're leaving your base, there is a chance that you're not going to be able to sort of like be able to come back with this. So I feel like gamers who are more, I would say, seasoned under the pressure of these types of things might prevail more in these types of games or in these types of situations, because they kind of understand the risk and the reward to it. And even with that, I feel like why I say seasoned gamers a lot more is because I feel like they also have that element in them where it's like, even if I do lose this stuff, something in me is going to tell me I'm not giving up. I'm going to get all of this back. I'm going to grind as much as possible, no matter what. And I think that's really what may sort of deter the games to more of those types of players.
Yeah. And yourself, Con?
So I haven't played one of these, like extraction shooter games, but I played something similar. Like in my experience, it feels very similar. I play Sea of Thieves, right? Yeah. And Sea of Thieves, as you start out, whatever you get is not yours until you've sold it. So like, even if you are stacked and you've been playing for 4 hours and you have everything, all it takes is one other player to chase you down, sync you, and you basically played 4 hours for
No.
nothing. Like you gained nothing, zero, nada. It's
I
all
didn't know
gone.
it had that element to it. I had no idea.
Like
I bought Sea of Thieves, I got drunk on rum, and then I refunded it because I didn't know any of this happened. Please carry on.
yeah, so I
That's
think
insane.
you can rob players in the open world. I mean, you can also make friends, right? I think that's kind of the allure of it. It's a you don't know what's going to happen. The whole point of the game is the surprise of like, is this guy going to, betray me? Like he's being friends now, and then right as you're about to sell, like you turn around, he's got a bomb, and kaboom, your ship's gone, and you're dead. And you're like,
No
wow,
way.
that's your friendship of 2 hours deleted, and you're just sitting there crying in your chair. You're like,
That's crazy. That's news to me. And that's exactly what I want the outcome of this chat to be. Like, I didn't know. I refunded the game because all I did was drank rum. And now here's an element that I had no idea existed. We're going to be breaking for a short while. Myself, Con, and Skarra will return, and we will be guiding and trying to assist best on how you can find the right fit, on what genre you should commit to, and where you should invest your time. We'll see you in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Myself, Papa Capes, with your boy Con and Skarra, and we are discussing the different gaming genres. What could be popular in today, what used to be popular, and what we don't think might remain popular in the future. So, gentlemen, Sea of Thieves is still on my mind, but let's not digress. How would somebody go about finding the right fit if they have either recently started gaming or they stopped gaming due to life happening and they're now returning, or they're just finding, like I said earlier, they're finding what they're currently playing stale? I mean, gamers know there's just seasons that you go through where every game is booming, every genre feels good, but then there's months of like no new releases, and if it's a new release, it's failed, the launch is buggy, nothing feels good. So how would somebody find the right fit when it comes to what genre to look for? Con, what do you think?
So for me, it would probably be something similar to what I do for work when I try to find out what new games are coming. Because, like you said, it sometimes goes really dry and you'd have to look out for what are people playing. And I would say searching for content on YouTube or Twitch is a good way to see what's at the top there, what are people playing, pop into a game, look at this. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's a cool game, not my style. You might stumble upon something that you really do like and you see like, oh, this person's enjoying this. I really like those kinds of games too, these kind of aspects. You get videos of like searching for like best games coming out in September 2023, and then you go from there. That's a great way to try. I think Xbox Game Pass is a pretty good way to get access of a lot of easy game, like a lot of games for a cheap buy-in. Like I think it's like 80 rand odd to play like a ton of games in any genre you want and give it a go. I mean, Sea of Thieves is on there, dude.
Snap!
Not sponsored, by the way.
Skarra and Aaron, from your side, how do you think it'll go about like just finding the best fit when it comes to genres?
I think Connor hit the nail on the head there. But I think from my perspective as well, I think it's also just going to somewhat your personality as a person as well, because sometimes what works for other people might not work for you. And I think maybe understanding yourself and understanding what you sort of like more, I think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
go
yeah.
to show what might work for you. And what I mean by that is, if you're sort of a dreamer, you're someone that's always, your head is always in the clouds. Maybe RPG might be for you. Maybe you're someone who likes to go into a world where you can make the best of it. You can create whatever you want. You can create your own character, explore a world, and create it your own. If you're someone that's, you love cognitive thinking, you love strategy, real-time strategy could be for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those types of games could be for you. And if you're maybe sort of a team-based player, you like just having fun with friends, you can maybe just play, FPS shooters that can be like, team-based. So
Hmm.
there's, I think, a lot of things that you can sort of find just within yourself, just looking at what you as a person might sort of lean towards. And I think that could also be a factor that you could look at with regards to looking for what might work for you as a gamer.
100%, 100%. All three of us here are content creators, right? So I've recently moved to Kick from Twitch. Skarra, you still on Twitch, and Con, you're on YouTube. And which means that the content that we create is very different, but also very similar. Why? Because we create content in games in a specific genre that's appealed to us. So why do certain genres appeal to you? If you guys could give me two each, and I mean, it's quite simple in like a scope that's as big as what we've got to offer. But Skarra, we'll start with you. Just two genres that you've chosen to stream live and share these, whether it was a first experience, like your Elden Ring, that might not have been a first experience, but I think the tragedies that you faced while playing those, that might have been a first. But just give us an insight as to why these genres appeal to you and why you chose to create content on said genre.
So I'll get into Elden Ring in a moment, actually. But FPS is something I delve into because I just love being able to, it's just really fun. A shooter game is, where you always want to improve your aim. You love the clutch factor in the game. You want to be able to have that, that adrenaline rush when you clutch around with your friends, winning games with them. But alongside that, Elden Ring is a Souls game for most people that don't know. And Souls games essentially are games that are made to be extremely difficult. And for me, it was a thing in me where it's like, I'm someone that if I lose, I don't like that. I want to continuously push on until I win. And for me, Elden Ring, why it's perfect for me is because it's a game where it's constantly pushing me to my limits. It's constantly pushing me to say, am I really going to give up on this, or am I just going to keep going?
Yeah.
It gives me a sort of like, sort of a preservation factor where it's like, I want to keep going. I don't want to give up. And I want to make sure that I can overcome this, because there's always this thing of, you're not going to be able to do this boss is too hard, or I've been on like my 50th try right now and I still can't win. But just that feeling of being able to beat a boss that everyone has said is literally the most difficult boss ever made in the game, gives you such a great feeling inside as a gamer. And I think that's really what I wanted to lean towards. I mean, alongside, giving entertainment to the crowd that is watching me, seeing me fail time and time again. It's just a really nice feeling to be able to overcome a game where you personally deep down felt like this might not have been possible. And that was actually my first Souls game. So I think just being able to, play that for the first time, finish it twice already, was just a really great feeling for me.
Hectic. Now you're just flexing on me. Now you're just flexing. Finished it twice already. Subtly throw that in there. Con, on your side, the genres that you choose to create content on, why do they appeal to you?
The one is quite funny because it's a content that I make that performs well, but challenges me a little too much for my own interests. Like, I play puzzle games a lot. Puzzle games, the number one thing people search tutorials for because they're confusing. They can get hard. I hate puzzles. I can't stand it. So I think in a way it's like I'm making videos for people who think like me, for like when they get stuck in the game and I'm like, I don't want to be stuck here in an hour trying
Just
to
Google it.
figure out which circle to put in which shape on the wall, like square triangle. I don't know. So like I think
That's crazy.
I think that's something I cover a lot. The other things I like to cover a lot are RPG games, games where you can figure out how to get as strong as possible. Elden Ring is actually sort of an RPG game if you consider it, like
Got the elements here.
Yeah, I also like made a ton of content on that where I'll show people where to get weapons, how to do a certain side story, because the game was quite rough with like not letting you track what you're doing. You'd have to remember who you spoke to, who they mentioned about a character you might not see for the next 50 hours. And you have to remember, I remember that guy down there 50 hours ago said, I should see you sitting on this barrel. Like if you don't remember this stuff, it's so hard to kind of continue. But the game does have like so much content that you can play it multiple times and discover new stuff. And I think that's the kind of stuff I like making videos on, because you can miss so many things and you have so much content to get from it.
Yep, no, I agree completely. So to those of you listening, we've now spoken about what you could play, what could be appealing. If I can suggest something that you should never play, it's not a genre, it's a game. It's called Bennett Foddy's Getting Over It. If I'm not, is it Getting Up or Getting Over It? I think it's Getting Over It. It's this dude that's in a pot and he's got a hammer and you need to climb weird stuff. Don't do it to yourself. It's torture.
No.
It's torture. People just don't do it. So I think we can all agree here as we close that the beauty about the gaming industry booming as it is now is that there's something for everyone, regardless of whether you find yourself committing to FIFA because you want to be the best FIFA player in the world, or you find yourself a tier 1 or a tier 2 esports like Valorant, like Counter-Strike on the FPS side of things, or League of Legends, that's also still a tier 1 esport. Whether or not you find a genre that sticks to you or you find multiple, in my opinion, I think it's all about replayability and how long the game at its core can remain fun. So from my side, from Con, from Skarra, that is what we feel about the genres that are available to you in gaming today. And just play where you think you'll find fun. Con, Skarra, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you both. Take it easy, yo. Have a good one. Oof, what a great discussion that was. Thank you again to our guests, ConCon and Collins, for their time. Don't miss the next episode of The Round Table.